Mexico is a federal republic in the southernmost portion of North America. It is a country with a rich, ancient civilization and history. Bruno Figueroa began his term as the ambassador of Mexico to South Korea in 2017. He is working diligently to actively promote exchanges between South Korea and Mexico. We will learn more about Ambassador Bruno Figueroa and Mexico on Heart to Heart. I would like to welcome His Excellency, Mr. Ambassador Bruno Figueroa, the Mexican ambassador to South Korea. Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the show. Would you like to say hello to our viewers?
Thank you for the invitation, Jennifer. It's an honor to be here at the program.
Yes. Once again, I am looking forward to our conversation today. I'd like to begin by talking about diplomatic ties. It was in 1962 that Mexico and South Korea officially established diplomatic relations, and since it's been 56 years. So I'd like to ask about the current important issues of interest between Mexico and South Korea to begin with.
Let me say first that the relationship between Mexico and Korea is very strong, very rich, and covers many areas from political dialogue to economic and trade issues to cooperation in the fields of science, technology, and education. I'd like to say that we are living the third wave in our relationship. The first wave was the political relationship and dialogue reaching the highest level when our presidents meet, and also our ministers, our foreign ministers and ministers of finance meet regularly here in Mexico, in New York, in other cities in the world. The second wave belongs to business. It has been impressive in the last 20 years to see the strong presence of growing presence of Korean business in Mexico. The footprint of Korea now is very clear in Mexico. You have, of course, the largest Korean companies. There is Samsung, there is LG, there is POSCO, there is Kia Motors, which opened a brand new factory in Mexico City in 2016 in Monterrey, in the north of Mexico. And the third wave is between our people. It's amazing how 20 years ago we knew almost nothing about Korea, and Koreans knew almost nothing about Mexico. We are very far apart, 12,000 kilometers away, separated by this huge ocean. And today you can have instant and free communication and information, but also we have a direct flight between Mexico and Seoul. And so in 15 hours, you can be in the other country. So what we are witnessing today is how millions of people from both countries are getting to know each other and are getting interested. This is now the time of the people.
So as you have just mentioned, it is true, it's obvious that the people have become closer as well. We'll be talking about the direct flight from Mexico to Korea and vice versa in just a bit. But you recently met with Do Jong-hwan, the Minister of Culture, Sports and Tourism, and Mexican Secretary of Culture, Cristina Garcia Cepeda. She delivered a very special message to increase cultural exchanges between our two countries. What prompted Mexico to, I guess, strengthen cultural cooperation with Korea? Could you tell us about this?
Precisely because Mexico and Korea are both powerhouses in creative industries. I'm talking about cinema, TV, fashion, food, any cultural expression. And there is so much that we can do together and promote in the other country because there is so much interest from each side. So we're talking about promoting the presence of Korea, let's say, to the largest fair of books in Spanish in the world, which is in Guadalajara every year, or the invitation to Mexican traditional dance companies to Korea, any kind of expression. So this is getting very strong now, and there is much scope for increasing this cooperation.
Right, so we can definitely expect to see more active cultural exchanges between our two countries in the future.
Definitely, definitely.
Many more activities and programs.
And many of them are promoted by the people themselves, by the artists, but of course, government behind are very important in order to encourage those flows.
Yes. Now, I heard that the cultural exchanges are obviously very active in Mexico. And there was this music video that I recently saw. There were articles on it. I mean, there was news about it everywhere. It was a video of the Mexican and Korean music combined. And it starred a Korean musician, K.L. Jun, who happens to be a Korean pianist, who's very active in Mexico, and Mexican flutist, Horatio Franco. It really caused a sensation. Everybody was talking about it, and I thought it was beautiful as well. You've seen it, right?
Yes, of course. And the idea was extraordinary. How to combine Korea's Arirang with Mexico's most famous song, which is Cielito Lindo. So they combined both songs, and they made this composition together. Horacio Franco is one of the most renowned Mexican musicians, and K.L. Jun is an amazing pianist. And they did this video in Oaxaca state, which is an incredible place. And so really this video is fantastic. And they will both play here in Seoul in September 21st at the Gugak Center.
That's very soon, in September. For those that have actually had the chance to watch the video, the music is beautiful, I think, just beautifully combined. And the background, it was Oaxaca. Beautiful. I think it was amazingly beautiful. So I recommend that everyone check it out. We can also witness the collaboration of the two countries at the Suncheon Bay, which is in South Jeolla Province. This was in May. The Mexican embassy in Seoul opened the Mexican garden inside the Suncheon Bay. So could you tell us about this national garden and the Mexican garden as well?
Well, that was a very exciting initiative, and I can feel very proud of it because it all started last year when I was invited to Suncheon to open the first Mexican industrial investment in Korea.
Yes.
That was really the first time that happened. And after the inauguration of the plant, we had a lunch with the mayor of Suncheon, and he invited us to visit the garden. And so there we saw the Italian garden with the Renaissance garden. We saw the Chinese garden with the traditional house inside in the middle, the Thai garden with the representation of an elephant. And I asked, and where is the Mexican garden? Well, sorry to say, there is no Mexican garden. So we should have one. So I asked the CEO of the Mexican company, why don't we join hands and build a Mexican garden here?
Yes.
So that's what we did. We worked very hard with wonderful experts from the University of Suncheon. And the question was, how do you synthesize Mexico's spirit in a garden for Koreans to enjoy? And so that's what we have now, a garden with a pyramid, stylized pyramid with grass on it that children love to climb up and down, representing ancient Mexico. We have a fountain representing colonial Mexico when Spain was in Mexico for 3 centuries, and then contemporary Mexico. It's a garden bursting with colors.
Yes.
You have Mexican pink, you have strong reds, you have blues, and in this country where people are, I would say, a little bit shy about colors, they are captivated immediately by the garden, and they enjoy a lot being there, taking pictures of the Mexico garden.
Yes, I've seen pictures of the Mexican garden, and as you've mentioned, it's very colorful. You can find all colors there. You could see palm trees as well, which was very interesting. Palm trees with dahlias.
I asked that they are Mexican plants, which is not very easy because of the climate in Korea, which is quite different from Mexico's. But botanists were very good in choosing plants that can grow in this garden. The dahlia is the Mexican national flower.
Yes,
So at least between spring and autumn, there will always be dahlias in this garden. And the palm trees can stay there the whole year long.
Also, earlier this year, the Embassy of Mexico organized an art exhibition featuring iconic representations of Mexican landscapes, beautiful landscapes. This was at the Dongdaemun Design Plaza, also known as DDP. And there, of course, have been other events and festivals promoting cultural exchanges between the two countries. Could you tell us about some of the other, maybe upcoming events and festivals that you are preparing?
What we want to do is to show the richness and variety of Mexican culture from traditional to contemporary. That's also the way Korea promotes its own culture. And even you can have the blend of traditional with modern. So September, traditionally for us, is the Mexican month in Korea because we celebrate our National Day on the 15th, and around it we do several events. We'll have a culinary festival during a week. There will be a huge dancing company, 30 people that will come for the High Seoul Festival on September 1st to another dancing festival some days later. We will have a mariachi band coming for the month that will perform in several events. And of course, we will also have the concert from Horacio Franco and K.L. June on the 21st.
Right, in September, 21st of September. we cannot leave out traveling to Mexico. We have to talk about traveling. And Mexico is emerging as a popular destination for travelers, not only from Korea, but from all over the world. And you did mention something about direct flights, being able to fly directly from Korea and from Mexico back to Korea. This was in July of 2017, just last year. So people can fly directly from Incheon to Mexico City. Very easily and a lot faster than before. Why would you say should travelers visit Mexico? Why should they put Mexico on their must-visit travel destination list?
Well, Mexico is today the 8th world destination for tourists. And that's not a surprise because of the richness of our country in every sense. Its landscapes, from desert to tropical, subtropical, the seas. We are surrounded by many seas, and some of the most wonderful beaches in the world, you find them in Mexico, from the Pacific coast to the Caribbean. And we have 27 sites that UNESCO labeled in Mexico of particular historical and cultural significance. At least you have to know a few of them when you visit Mexico. That's why when people travel to Mexico, they never stay less than 1 week because there's so much to see in Mexico.
Now we have prepared some amazing photos of some of the most beautiful places to visit in Mexico. So as we take a look, could you tell us about these locations? Okay, let's take a look. This is a picture, well, it's obviously a beautiful place. Where is this?
This is Los Cabos, the Finisterre, that means the end of the land, at the tip point of the Baja California Peninsula. Just imagine 1,250 kilometers long and quite narrow. And just at the end of that peninsula, you find this beautiful arch monument.
Wow.
When I was 15 years old, I traveled with my family to Baja California in a camping car.
In a camping car?
And in those times, there were very few hotels, and the infrastructure was really small. That was quite an adventure. But today, what you find in Baja California are amazing resorts for golfers. To play golf between the sea and the deserts is something fantastic.
Wow. Definitely a must-visit location. We have another photo, and where is this?
This is San Miguel Allende. This is a town in central Mexico. This is a colonial town that was built during Spanish times. And it's a beautiful small town that you love to stroll around and eat in small terraces, do some shopping, where you will find amazing handicrafts. San Miguel Allende has been named the #1 small city in the world.
Oh, is that right?
By Condé Nast and Travel and Leisure in the last 2 years.
Oh, I see. Okay, wow. Another must visit. I'm going to have to go to all these places. And this is another beautiful location. Where is this?
Of course, this is the jewel of the crown. This is Cancun. As you mentioned, this is where honeymooners love to go. You find everything there. You have large resorts. You rest on white sand beaches. And you treat you very well there. So Cancun today doesn't need a presentation.
All right, I think these are all the photos that we have prepared. Is there maybe another location, a couple, or just one that you might want to add to recommend our viewers to visit?
Well, it's difficult because Mexico is so wide, and I love so many places in my country. But if I mention one, I would say Oaxaca.
Oaxaca,
Oaxaca State is in the south of Mexico City, facing the Pacific Ocean. And in Oaxaca, what you have is also very traditional Indian cultures, Mixtecs and Zapotec Indians. You have beautiful ruins. You have incredible churches from the 16th to the 18th century, and towns where you can stroll around and become a little bit familiar with local culture and amazing food. Also, in Oaxaca, you find incredible food.
Right. We, of course, cannot leave that food when we travel. It's also a part to enjoy while learning about the country's culture. What would be the best time? When would be the best time to visit Mexico?
Well, I would say anytime.
Anytime.
Anytime, because winters are an excellent time to go to the beach. There's a breeze, it's not so hot. But during the summer, you can have some rain during the afternoons, and that's very refreshing. So frankly, you can go to Mexico all year round.
All year round. So no need to worry about when to go. You can just take off any time of the year. You know, many people may be familiar with the country Mexico, but not as much with its culture. But actually, the animation film, Coco, it was released in Korea early this year, not last year, but this year. And I think through this animation film, a lot of Koreans were able to kind of connect with Mexico, learn so much about the culture as well. And the animation was inspired by this Mexican holiday known as the Day of the Dead, where families remember their deceased loved ones and they honor them and pray for them. So could you maybe tell us about this day, the Day of the Dead?
Yes, firstly, I was very surprised to see how many people saw the movie and how much they were moved by it, and as you mentioned, how much they were connected with Mexico. And it's excellent. The movie really followed very carefully what we do during those very special days. Indeed, it's a holiday in Mexico that lasts 4 days, and it's the time to share with our own families the memories of our ancestors. So we go to the graves to put flowers on it, to pray, and also at home we build some altars on tables with the pictures of the deceased one, and even we make some special food for the Dia de Muertos. So that's really a very, very special moment for us that keeps our identity very strong.
I see. Well, time has flown by so quickly, and I'd like to ask about your future plans or goals you hope to achieve while you're here in Korea as Mexican ambassador to South Korea.
Well, of course, to strengthen our relationship, our people getting more connected together. Our trade is very strong. We're talking about $19 billion a year. But there is much scope for much more trade between us. And we still have to negotiate a trade agreement. Both governments took that decision only last July. And so we expect to start negotiating, talk about future trade relations early next year. So that's, I would say, one of the most important goals for us to do.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I know that you have a very busy schedule. I hope you enjoy every moment of your stay in Korea. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Pleasure.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.